Call to order the special meeting for November 4th, 2025. Please stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here we go.
I'm like right in the pancake.
Roll call?
Mayor Kurzman,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burrill,
Here.
Commissioner Fender,
Here.
Commissioner Mayfield,
Here.
Commissioner Titicus.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, any public comment on non-agenda items? Any additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda?
Motion to accept the agenda as provided? Second.
Roll call?
Vice Mayor Burrill,
Yes.
Commissioner Fender,
Yes.
Commissioner Mayfield,
Yes.
Commissioner Titicus,
Yes.
Mayor Kurzman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Discussion, Town Manager?
Yes, thank you, everyone, for coming this evening. The discussion and ultimate decision involves the coverage of our sewer connections. Just to give a little bit of the history, back in December of 2022, we received an $8.4 million grant to install a sewer system to basically convert septic tanks to sewers. And our town engineer, Joe Capra from CapTech, basically has engineered the project. We got it approved through Martin County Utilities. We got it permitted from the different permitting agencies, including DEP, that gave us the grant. And we have been installing the sewer lines. There's 169. If you look on the map that's on the screen, if you all can see that, the area that's purple or like an off blue colored on my screen, that's the first 169 connections that were installed. They're already in place. The gray area that's to the right covers the rest of South Sewell's Point Road, the Archipelago District, and the High Point. And currently, construction is going, and the first part was part one, second part's part two. And currently, the contractors is installing the lines on Island Road, scheduled to go into High Point right around the Thanksgiving part of this month. There was discussion at our last meeting about the possibility of moving connections from High Point to the lower lying areas of Ridgeview, Palm, pardon me? I'm sorry, Riverview. Sorry. Thank you for keeping me straight. Riverview, Palm, Kingstonport, and Oakwood, and Pineapple. So those streets weren't covered because they were part of Part 3, and we were hoping that the county would have given us permission to go with grinders for the remainder of the project, and that didn't occur, even though this commission and our staff has worked hard, and along with the town engineer and his staff, to try to get those approved. They weren't approved. So, but on the plus side of that, and we'll go through and walk everything through, and Mr. Capra's got a presentation that he's going to do, but just to steal maybe some of his thunder, because of his hard work and the staff's hard work and the commission, the county administrator, Don Donaldson, has opened up the door for us to come and address the Martin County Commission. And we'll be doing that on November the 18th with the possibility of getting 134 connections for grinder systems. So that would be enough to cover the grinders that are needed on those streets that I mentioned, and pretty much fill out all of the south end of South Sewell's Point. So we're hoping that that gets adopted by their commission, and if that does, then I think a lot of the concerns that I've heard from the residents will, dissipate, because, everybody will have an opportunity, at least in the south end of Sewell's Point, to have sewers. By the south end, I'm talking about the south end of the south end, sort of. So covering those streets and all the fill-in streets that are there. So I'm going to introduce Mr. Capra and Joe, if you'll come up. And now that I stole your thunder, if you can take it from there.
That's okay. That's better that you did it than me. Anyways, I'm Joe Capper, the town engineer. Most of you probably have seen me here before. What I've passed out is essentially the same thing that you're going to see on the screen here to the commissioners, so they want to go back and talk through a few items. I can do that. I also passed out to them pretty much an outline of what we're going to talk about. I hate to repeat myself from what we said last week, but I think it's important that everybody, because there's probably some new people here, should understand what we've done so far. Bob has explained most of it, but I think it's important we kind of talk about just what's been going on per se. Basically, I also should probably introduce James Carnes is in the back corner there. He's one of my engineers that helps me work on this, so from time to time I may call him up to help me, to bail me out from some questions. But the fact of the matter is, he's pretty much been involved with this for a while. His expertise is in water and sewer facilities, so he's pretty familiar with how this should work. So, first of all, I'm going to be showing some exhibits. This exhibit here is really the main map. I think we can talk mainly from this, so everybody understands what's on this map. On the left side of this, in this location, you see Sewall Boulevard, South Sewell's Point Road, going at the end. Pretty much the purple outlines the current area where we have low pressure portion, which allows us to put grinder stations at each of the houses. And that is already in place, the purple area. And the way it works is we put the lines in place, the grant pays for the lines that we put out there in the field, and the residents in those areas have been given a letter that sewers are available for them. And so they go to Martin County Utilities. Martin County Utilities will come out and show them on their lot where the sewer line would go to get to and where they should put the grinder. And quite frankly, they work with the homeowner to do that. And they pretty much do everything as far as the resident pays them a fee. They'll calculate a fee for you. That fee ranges between $8,000 and $12,000 per household. And essentially, they go out there and put the lines in place, put the grinder in place, adjust electrical outlets for your facility at your house to handle the grinder station, and essentially set everything up. So what is shown on here is the purple is what's already being worked on. We're getting a pretty good response rate to hook up. Okay. What's gray on the right side of the map, which is pretty much from, I'm going to point out why this is right here. We'll be talking about that quite a bit. But from here south, in the gray is the area that a company called Sunshine Land Design is going to be, or is building, low pressure force mains. Low pressure force mains are basically, they're, as they say, they're pressurized. They range from 1.5 inches to 4 inches in diameter. So they're not large sewer lines, they're not large storm pipes. They're very small. And basically, most of the time what you'll see is they go out there and they directional drill them. And so you'll see where the pipe goes in the ground and where it comes out of the ground. Point being is they're not tearing up all the roads. And that's the benefit of a low pressure force main system being put in place. So anyways, the gray area is being built. They're currently working on Island Road. Most of you know where Island Road is. Basically, this the eastern side of High Point subdivision there. And then basically the next move is they'll then go into High Point itself and do that area. They also will be doing South Sewall Point Road from this point down, and they will be doing the archipelago. I don't think archipelago people here, but essentially those are the areas, the gray areas where they'll be working on next, okay? So basically that map, because you kind of probably wonder what all the colors mean, we've actually taken polls a couple times. One most recently are the circles that are here. And just so you know, those say when people have said they will hook up. Green is within a year, yellow is within 5 years, and red means they don't plan on hooking up at all. And you'll see circles in this area here where it's a white area, and then the same with this area down here. You'll see the circle. The prior study, the prior poll that we did a couple years ago is what are in the blocks of red, green, and yellow. Essentially, they're the same things. They're on the top right side of it. But essentially, between the two polls, we kind of combine the results that we have on the map. Again, the reason you see dots only in the white area is because we put out a poll just so the people that don't have sewers already available. And like I said, the purple and the gray, we've known that we're going to put sewers there for the last couple years. So the point is, the dots are only in the white area where there's currently, we've been told by the county, which we'll go through in a minute, we need to place gravity sewers, okay? Gravity sewers out there. So essentially, that's what's on the map is what is red, green, and yellow. You'll see a certain number of connections here from like, let's just say from East Ocean. Commercial areas on East Ocean are already served by sewers, but from here to the south, essentially from there, in this case, all the way to the Field Cynthia subdivision, that's in white here, pretty much there's 156 connections or households that need sewer service, and basically 30 people have said that they'll hook up within the first year, 12 people said that they hook up in 5 years, and 14 said that they didn't want to hook up at all. So essentially, that's what these areas are showing as far as the number of connections. This up here, the purple area, shows how many people would hook up from the original poll that we took. The purple area is here again. The gray area over there tells you how many people have said they would hook up in the gray area. So, and then basically we're going to be working to the south. So, a couple things. Currently, the purple is 169 connections. The gray is 171 connections for a total of 340 connections. Martin County Utility says that's their policy, but they don't want us to put any more than that out there in the field. So obviously, we would like that to change, but the fact that we have to go through some discussion on that. What I also have prepared and it's going to be shown in a minute, is cost estimates on the Rio Vista subdivision here. That currently, it has dry sewer mains out there. They have to be relined, and a lift station has to be placed in the location of the stars. There's already a lift station wet well there, but that has to be activated. So essentially that means putting all the guts inside of it, and essentially that is an area called Rio Vista, and that area is we designated as gravity sewers. And there's about 76 connections in that. Pineapple Lane area to Oakwood is this area here. In a few minutes this will mean something to you. But basically this is about 74 connections. The residents in this area at the last meeting, you can see there's a lot of interest in here hooking up, and essentially they would like connections as soon as they can get them. Okay? So that's what our goal is try to get them their connections quicker. This area from basically from Oakwood to High Point area is about 60 connections, and basically we outline that as separately between the 70 and the 60. The 74 and the 60 is a total of 34 connections. So I just want you to know that's relative, because when I went and spoke to Don Donaldson and Sam Emerson, actually extending grinders into those areas. Now, that's not as easy as it sounds, because quite frankly, we have to convince the county commission to let us do that. So I just want to let you know, that's where we're proposing to put the additional grinders. I'm going to be also sending out, showing you a map later, there is a correlation between the sanitary sewer map and what is our vulnerability stormwater improvement map, which talks about raising South Sewell Point Road and addressing resiliency, which also address the sea level rise coming up our outfalls into our neighborhoods. And that map is going to be shown here. That area of improvement is actually from this point all the way to this point. So this area here falls within that stormwater improvement, which is basically Pineapple Lane all the way to Sewell's Meadows, okay? So the importance of us getting sewers is not just to get sewers to the properties, but also those lines we want to put in so that we can then put in the storm sewer systems and raise the road in that area so that we have benefit of basically not driving through flooded areas, okay? So that's also an item that I'll show you in a minute, okay? So that kind of goes through a background of the exhibits that we have here. The recent history, I just want to make sure we didn't just do this basically town for many years. I think the first study I did in the town on sewers was actually in 1994. But basically we've been looking at is how can we get sewers here. And so in 2022, we did a study that looked at various options for septic to sewer. And in that study, we talked about 706 connections from basically Town Hall south of Highway. That's about 706 connections. And that's important to know. We actually did a study. We outlined about 3 different options for providing sewer service. One of them was grinder. One of them was gravity. That's pretty much the normal. Gravity is probably the normal way most people get sewers and so forth. And then the third way was vacuum. Okay, and so the study was completed, and in that study, the town had a criteria that they gave us. First of all, they wanted no mandatory connection. Now that can be construed different ways, but essentially they didn't want, as soon as we put the lines out there, people had to hook up within a year. Basically, the way it works is you do have to hook up if your septic tank fails, your septic tank drain field fails, but you're not required to hook up until that point. Because once sewers are in front of your property, you can no longer get a permit to rehabilitate your drain field. That's good. So essentially, the only way we could get no mandatory connection as well as no mandatory assessment, meaning the way this has been set up, you get connections when you pay when you go that's a pretty much drop dead deadline. That does not mean that you have to have hookups by that time. That doesn't mean the work that's being done on the private property has to be installed at that time. What that means is anything that I put out there in the public road right away, lift stations, lines, sanitary sewer lines, relining of the sanitary sewer line, anything that's in public right away, I have to have done by June of 2026. That's a very short period of time to do a lot of work that we'd like to get done. The funds that have been expended to date or committed, purple area, gray area, on that grant, again, it's 8.4 million, we spent 3.3, or we will spend 3.3 million once Sunshine Land Design finishes the work that's in the gray area. So, again, that leaves us about $5.1 million to do additional work. So that's what we are trying to establish tonight, is where do we put the next area of work, remembering we have a deadline of June 26th, as well as we have a max requirement, so we have to make sure that whatever the residents pay in those areas, they provide enough money to meet our max requirements. So again, I think I talked about the current work. Let me tell you, Martin County Utilities they've been very good to work with. They're helping us as much as they can, but they've limited us to 340 low-pressure force main liner connections, which is purple and gray. That remains 366 of the 706 that we are supposed to be putting gravity mains in place of. So October 14th, we had a meeting here. We talked to the residents. They told us some of their concerns. I think they were pretty obvious what you wanted. You wanted sewers as soon as possible. I'm sure someone will talk about that in a few minutes. But essentially, we heard that, and so the town, well, the mayor went at one time, I wanted at several times, some of the other commissioners also expressed an interest to talk to the county. I went and talked to Don Donaldson, the county administrator, and St. Emerson, and I talked about, I had to tell them the whole thing about the story, how fast we had to get this, how we had this money already in place, and how we would like to get this work to be done. There's no guarantee we're going to get the right to go to the 134 connections, but they said that they would be willing to talk with their board, and again, we're hoping to do that on the 18th of November at the Board of County Commission meeting. Usually the meetings are in the morning, okay? So anyways, if you want to attend that meeting, by all means do. Again, the county preference is to put gravities, sewer lines, and we are asking to have them consider 134 low-pressure force main connections and do that so we can use practice. Okay. So now is what I'm recommending tonight that we do as a board here. I think everybody, any of you have questions on what I've already said? Because I do have a recommendation I thought I would present to you all. Does anybody have any questions on what we talked about here?
Let's hear your recommendation.
I have a question.
So,
I'm sorry, you have one question.
okay.
Yeah. When did we go from, when I spoke with Mr. Daniels yesterday, he told me that you all were looking for another 100 low-pressure force main connections from the county, and now this is 134. It's like a moving target. What's the difference? Where'd it come from?
So when I went and spoke to Mr. Donaldson and Mr. Emerson, I talked about the interest of the residents, which, and here's, is broken down in two parts. Again, the most of the interest was between Pineapple Lane and Oakwood, okay, that we talked about. And there are 74 connections in that area, okay? So you are absolutely right. We did talk about 74. But then I pointed out to them, you know, we have this money, and low-pressure force mains are easy to put in place compared to gravity, and there are some rather awkward ways of building gravity sewer mains in Delano Lane, Mandalay, and Margarita. So I asked if he would consider that additional 60 connections there because of the fact that it's going to be difficult to get gravity mains in those locations. He was willing to consider that. So then when you add 60 plus 74, that's the 134 we're talking about.
Thank you.
Your recommendation?
Okay, my recommendation at this point is, we know that the county wants gravity, and we believe probably the easiest location, I'm not saying easy, I probably shouldn't say the word easy, there's not any easy way about this, but we believe that we could put sewers, or reline the sewer lines in Rio Vista. And there's a couple benefits to that, and there's also a lift station site already there at that corner, and it has a wet well, and the county's willing to consider us using what's there already as far as the wet well itself. That's the underground structure, okay? And so, and we know that they're going to want lift stations. The second thing, that is about midway, and when you consider the flushing of the lines, that provides an opportunity for flushing line. We currently have a flushing station at that line, or at that location, that we had to put in so that we could get the gray and the purple lines put in place. So we're recommending that that the next step is to reline the existing sewer lines that are in the Rio Vista subdivision, that's the crosshatch subdivision, and then put in the lift station where the star is on that Lantana location. So that's our first thing. We need to request approval to move forward with the design, permitting, and bidding. Now, we will not sign or recommend, we will not hire a contractor until we come back to you, okay? At this point, we just want to get it set up so we can go do that process, okay? Obviously, that, at this current time, the county, again, wanting gravity sewers, says we can do that. We can move forward with that. We ultimately will get a permit from them, which we do on any sewer line extensions, because they're the ones that are going to be maintaining and operating all the sewer mains that are in the public right-of-way, okay? As well as any grinders. They do operate the grinder stations that go at each individual house, okay? So anyways, so they have a process of permitting, and obviously before we even get to that point, we have to sign an interlocal agreement with the county commission to provide sewer service out here. So there's besides the design, permitting, and bidding, we have to sign an interlocal agreement with them. They sign our permits, and they issue a permit for the work that we want to do. So that's the work that's in the Rio Vista subdivision. That's my first recommendation. The second item, is there any questions on that? Maybe I should stop there for a minute. Okay, my second item is we want to request the administrator to approve 134 additional low-pressure force main grinder connections, and I provided a cost estimate that we can show you, but it's in the packet, essentially, that basically says what they're going to cost. It outlines what the costs are going to be to install those lines. It also outlines some fees that are paid for engineering and grant services and administration and so forth. So those costs are also depicted on there for the two. And it's broken into two parts, the 74 equivalent connections. This one up here, I just want to make sure that's the right one. I've already,
Pineapple to Oakwood?
okay, this one is Pineapple to Oakwood. This is where most of the residents were at the last meeting, showing the interest. So this is the money from here to here is the money, $656. That's the amount of money that we need to get the lines in the road right away, okay? And so forth, and that's low pressure force mains. Again, there's no lift stations in this. That's how much money we need to do that. There's 74 connections between Pineapple Lane and Oakwood Drive, okay? These numbers down here, currently, people are paying an average of about $9,000 a connection. I will tell you, we still have to sort out how much the connection fee is going to be, but obviously we'd like to keep it to what people are currently paying, or close to that, okay? And so that shows, we call that the customer connection package. That's the money that you would pay to Martin Utilities to go and do the actual hookup to your house, okay? And that's shown here. And then obviously after that, there's an inspection cost and contingencies, and then the design costs and the grant administration cost. Total for basically So we've talked about two items. Number one is requesting the 134 additional connections, and that's going before the Board of County Commissioners. And we understand it's going to be on Tuesday, November 18th, is what the date they're going to talk about that. Obviously, the things that are going to happen at that meeting is we want the towns and the county's agreement to an interlocal agreement. The agreement probably won't be signed at that meeting, but we basically want to make sure that there's agreement that they're going to sign an interlocal agreement to let us extend sewer mains in town. And after that, the town commission would need to agree to continue with the design and permitting and bidding of those low-pressure force mains. Okay, so that's pretty much explains the two things we're hoping to achieve here. And I'm not going to tell you that it's going to be easy, and we obviously, we have an ability to go before the county commissions, no telling that we're going to get approval on it, but that's what we're hoping is going to happen, so we can, first of all, not only just get sewers to the residents, but also to use this grant that we have money available, because after June, we're not going to have any money. No matter how much we spend now, the money's going to go away. Whatever we don't spend will go away. Okay, so what I wanted to point out was, because I know most of you that were here last time were concerned about not only sanitary sewer, but you're concerned about drainage, because what's happening out there, we have water ponding at the intersection. So this is just an overall map. I'll just tell you, this is pretty much from Sewell's Meadow area, and the green outline is the grant we have, which we call the resiliency grant. That is with DEP, and that also has the same deadline of June of 2026, okay, to be completed. So it's in green. Now, we are still, we also applied for FEMA money, and unfortunately, you probably know by now that there's something called the federal government shutdown, but we're not getting that together. The blue area is being financed by the HMGP grants, okay? We're still waiting on that money to come in, but we also have a DOT grant to build what's in the red. So our intention is to build it all, and again, we were planning on doing that at the beginning of next year, and we still plan on doing that, but we obviously have a government shutdown, and we just got to get all this working. But probably the first thing that we need to do, because our deadline for this resiliency grant is the same as the sewer grant, which has to be spent by June, and we want to get that work installed. At the same time, we're doing stuff with the sewer. So I just want you to know, I forgot about the drainage and resiliency and sea level rise. That's all being planned, and we have grant money for that, but we do have quite a few things to happen before that. We certainly like to make sure the sewer lines are in here before I go put the storm pipes in there. Because usually we just want to make sure there's no conflict between the two. So that's the stormwater project. That's not the septic sewer project, that's the stormwater project, so we're going to stand on. Okay, have you heard enough of me?
Sounds good.
I'll sit down and let you ask questions. How's that?
Commissioner Titicus.
Mr. Capra, of the estimates that you put forward for the design, permitting, and administration, that comes roughly to $237,900. Is that with your firm?
Yes, well, we have to hire a surveyor to do survey work. We have to hire a surveyor, and would be for anything else we have. We also have to hire we do a lift station, we have to do electrical engineers, so we hire an electrical engineer to do that. So we do sub-out portions of that, yes.
And then in terms of the construction inspection, who would be doing that? That comes to $280,800.
So I put all these as an estimate, and I did it based on percentage. We haven't really broken down the actual cost of those yet, because we're still kind of up in the air what we're going to do and so forth. But to answer your question, yeah, in this case, the DEP grants, we can do the inspection on them also. On some cases, we end up hiring or the town hires another firm to do that. So that's kind of up in the air, so that's why I separated them.
So not counting the contingency money that's in there, which also adds up to roughly the same $280,000, you're looking at roughly $510,000 that would be flowing to Captech Engineering.
Yep, if you break down, and just so we're clear, that's for the gravity and also the grinders, yes.
It's the three estimates you gave us.
Yeah, that's right, and just so you know, if you notice the percentages a little bit, just so you know, on the Rio Vista, I'm lining existing pipes and I'm designing a lift station. So that's why the percentage of that it came down, okay? I just want to let you know how the percentages were established.
Thank you.
And Joe, one more question before you sit down. I'm sorry. Would we be able to get multiple crews, get an additional crew or two to lay out, whether it's for the grinders or whatever it might be, so we don't even, the idea is really, if we're going to do this, let's finish it promptly. And is it possible to get more crews on this so we don't lose these grants?
Two things. When we did talk to DEP today, and again, and it's still, some of this will rest on Elizabeth's discussion on this, but just so you know, the grinder work that we have out there under Sunshine Land Design is similar to the other grinder work. We could negotiate with them, or we could hire another firm, okay? And again, we'll take a look at both options. They did tell me that they would put a second crew out here, even for the project we have now, okay? So they have the capability to have more than one crew. But the fact of the matter is we could bid multiple crews and multiple, because that would be for low pressure, okay? Now, the gravity work that has to be done, which is relining the pipes and putting in a lift station, we currently do not have that in a contract with Sunshine Land Design. We would have to bid that, okay? Now, we could bid that with two separate contractors, one that does the lining and one that does the lift station. So we could break it up. But again, your point is we don't want to not complete something because we didn't have the manpower to finish it.
What would the turnover be in getting bids?
Well, I can address that. We're planning on publishing that on Friday for the bids, and it's a 30-day turnaround. I thank Elizabeth for educating me on that a little bit. So December 8th would be the deadline that the bids to be in. We'd open them that morning and hopefully present them to this commission on December the 9th, which is our regular meeting in December. Excuse me.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
With all of this being said, okay, will High Point get to keep their grinders?
The way I propose it here, yes. I was not moving.
That's all I want to know.
Yeah, I wasn't changing
Okay, that's-
anything. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I wasn't changing.
I don't care about all the other stuff. Right here tonight, that's what we're really talking about.
Okay, yeah.
Commissioner Mayfield, please.
Yes, Joe, I have a quick question. I just want to clarify the Rio Vista gravity deal from the residents' perspective. Do they get the same deal per se as the grinder people in terms of not, I know you've said this, I just want to clarify, because it is a different system, it's gravity, not having to immediately be assessed on their water bill or property tax or however someone gets assessed. They would be able to wait to pay until they are waiting to hook up. Is that correct?
That's correct. That
Okay.
is correct.
That's good, because I wasn't, I was under the understanding that gravity and vacuum could be different, so that's good news.
Right.
And then the main difference I see would be the connection cost per your numbers per resident would be like a $3,000 difference potentially, but it's still under the county's limit of $12,000 per.
We use 12,000 here, to be honest with you. That number could change, and I can't tell you that yet, but it'll be a matter of bidding and so forth, and we're trying to figure out ways to balance this a little bit better, but
Okay.
I will let you know that the match work is we're still working on that, okay?
Okay,
I
okay.
just want you to know that. We're trying to look at different options. What we did in here is we put the lift station cost as the residents, that they would be paying a contribution to that.
Okay,
We're going to build it ahead of time, okay, but the fact of they would have to pay a portion of it.
okay.
That's one way that was one way we thought we could get the match to work. It may be different when we finish this, that's all I'm saying.
Okay, but my first point still stands, correct?
Yeah,
About the
yeah,
50?
we
The other
intend
way,
to build
okay.
it ready.
assessment.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Okay.
plan to finish.
And by the way, having done this for years and looking at it all, this is a very nice, you did a very good job on the map, whoever worked on it, and explaining it all and trying to summarize what we're trying to accomplish here, so thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
One more question. Again, all of this has to do with the approval of the county commission. Now, let's say they don't approve any of this. I want to make sure that we're clear that even if they don't approve it, that High Point gets their gravity system.
The way I have it set up now, yes, and again, that would be your choice. Currently, we have grinders and low pressure in High Point. That's in a contract with Sunshine Land Design. We're moving forward with that contract, just the way it is. So we're not doing that. The thing that could change, and it's not relative to High Point, it's relative to the 134 connections. That's the one we need to decide.
That's the
how-
one we really want, is the 134.
Yeah, well, obviously, and what the county wants is that gravity system in Ria Vista. So that's
Oh,
why
yeah, I know
I
they,
put
I
that,
know
I
what they
put
want.
that one in there,
Yes,
so, yeah.
we all know what they want. I mean, they want that gravity because they want that upfront money,
Right.
okay? But I'm just, again, we're here because of High Point, and that's why we want all of that to be on record.
Yeah, everything that you just said is true. We are leaving High Point, as is currently in the plans, to build that with the money we have, and we don't have to get anything different from anybody else on it. It's already in an interlocal agreement.
Okay.
And Joe, with that, now, the other part that is a major concern, and for those who don't understand what's going on in Riverview, I've been monitoring that, I've been called by the residents for the last 7 years. What happens every time we get a heavy rain, you get a king tide, the water comes up on their lawns over the leach fields. So when the water's up, the sewer water mixes in, or septic water. And then what happens is it goes down, there's a drain at the bottom. It's an inlet that goes directly, express lane, directly into the Inner River Lagoon. It's sewer water, and it happens on a regular basis. And the soil on their lawns, it's green on the upside, it's slime, and that's why we want to make sure that they're able to get sewers as well. It's very important. This has been going on it's getting worse every year. It's not getting better. And the time that it's underwater, these leach fields, is expanding longer and longer each year. And to watch our waterways go and accept all this sewerage, it's a direct spill into the Indian River Lagoon. It's also going on the lawns. It stays on the lawns. People have to lift their dogs up. You can't just go outside. And I know there are people that need rides. They have to get pickup trucks to come and get them because it's not so much stepping in the water, but it's stepping in sewer water. There's a big difference. And it's been very tough to live like that for these people. And, I really want to make sure that they do get sewer. I don't think it really matters whether it's gravity or it's grinder or whatever it might be, but they must have sewer before the next rainy season and king tides start again. And is that, can you say that it's guaranteed?
No, we can't. Okay, it all depends on that vote on the 18th of November, if the commission decides to take a vote. They're agreeing to hear our presentation, which we haven't gotten that far. So I am optimistic, but it's cautiously optimistic. So, they're in control of that, and hopefully, they see the need for it, as Joe explained. Even trying to do later on the gravity system, it's going to be difficult to do that. So that's, why it expanded to the 134. So in essence, most of that whole area will be taken care of with the grinder system. Now, by utilizing the grinder system, we can get in and get the job done, whether it takes 1 crew, 2 crews, or whatever. But, if we did gravity, it's a lot longer of a process to go through, and there's more lift stations that would have to go in and so forth. So it raises the price up and also draws the length of time. And we do have to be done by June 30th, 2022. 2026, sorry, for the grant. So we can't get around that. We've tried, we looked for extensions and everything else, and, we can put in for our reimbursements. We don't have to have that. We have 2 months to get our reimbursements in. But, the bottom line is, we have to be done by that deadline. Otherwise, we're on the hook for the expenditures. Sorry, Joe, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, because all we need is really just for the Riverview, which is ground zero, when it comes to this, 10 connections. It's not the world. And whatever it's going to cost, I mean, everybody that I've ever talked to cares so much about the river. And, you got to figure out, it's a tough thing because we committed one thing to High Point, and I don't want to take away from High Point either. But what I would like to do, with all the emails we got over the past probably almost a week now, I'd love to see those emails go to the county commissioners. I need everybody's help on this. I don't care if you live in High Point, Riverview, anybody lives anywhere. If anybody gives a damn about that river out there, they'll please send all the commissioners emails asking them to pass this. It's up to the commissioners. They're going to, before the commission, if 3 votes say no, it's not happening, and we're stuck. And that means the people that live on Riverview, we're doing everything we can on our end, and, it's just, and the people in High Point, you got to weigh the options, and I don't like picking one against the other. It's not picking or anything like that. I'm trying to do what's best for the community, and it's a hard decision, a decision that's not made up right now. But I do need help, and this is something that can't be done with just commission alone. It's going to take the next step, which is really going to the county and letting your voices be heard. And if you could attend the meeting on the 11th, they do their meetings in the morning, that would be a golden lining, really it would, for the town. This is where people always want to get involved and see what they can do. I couldn't ask for anybody in this town to do more than that, and I'd be eternally grateful for that. It means a lot.
Do
The
you want to do
board's-
public comment?
I'm sorry?
Did you want to do public comment? We haven't done
Well, I
public
think you
comment.
had Commissioner.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I'd like to follow up on Commissioner Mayfield's question to Mr. Capra. At the last meeting, you stated that, the potential assessment to Rio Vista for a gravity system was about $14,003 per lot. Is that correct?
Could be close to that,
Could be close to that.
yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
just checking.
yeah, I mean, again, as I get into the matching ideas and so forth, what we tried to do with having a lift station fee is one thing that we're going to suggest to the county utility department. They may have some other suggestions on how to get this match to work better.
But the
And-
14,000 isn't the connection fee. That's an assessment over and in addition to the connection fee?
Well, we're.
We don't have any assessments.
Yeah, we're trying to do this without an assessment.
He used the word assessment at the last meeting, Bob.
Well, that's
And
what
it
I'm
was in the
saying. I'm
write-up.
clarifying it. We don't have any assessments. There's a connection fee.
Yeah.
That's what we're dealing
I
with.
apologize if I said that, Frank, but the fact of the matter is, we're trying to live by what the commission told us from the beginning, that what the principle of this is, there would be no special assessments, no mandatory hookup, and we would have an interlocal agreement. So we call it it's a connection package cost, and that cost is a list.
And you pay that when you connect. An assessment, you come through and everybody, all the property owners, whether they get sewer or not, they are assessed the cost of that project. That's not what's going on here. That's an assessment.
The terminology and the write-up that Mr. Capper provided at the last meeting
I understand, yeah.
You know.
You're correct,
said $14,003 per lot assessment.
yes.
Thank you.
Town manager,
Well, I just wanted to clarify
okay.
that. Thank you.
Commissioner Mayfield.
I was just going to ask about public comment.
Okay. Commissioner Fender, please.
So again, I'll mimic Commissioner Mayfield's comments. Thanks for this report. It's very clear, and I appreciate it. You know, we've been working on this for a very long time. And so I'm also cautiously optimistic that we're going to get the green light from the commission on the 18th. We spent a lot of time talking about the area to the south, Sewell's Point, but remind me or tell me, is there a plan for the white area in the lower left-hand corner of the map?
I believe that's the area, Bob, when you pull that up there, I believe you're talking about the area from Hillcrest, Ridgeland,
Yeah, that area.
Heritage and so forth. The county would like us to consider gravity in that area, that they would like
I
gravity.
thought gravity was a hatched area. Am I wrong about that?
Well, that is what we're proposing to work on now, because of where it falls, and the fact that we know that's in the middle of the town, and we need that for flushing anyways. So that's why we're proposing that one. The area to the north, I don't see how we could, first of all, they're asking us to make gravity there. We do have some dry sewer lines there. We'd have to add lift stations to those, and then we have some that don't have any lines in them, some of the roads. The other thing is we don't believe we can build all that in the deadline for the grant. So that's why we have not addressed it, because we don't
That's my question.
have
You
enough
didn't,
money.
you were
We
not
don't have enough
planning to do
time.
that section by June?
Yeah, we don't have enough
Okay,
time.
all right, understood. Thanks.
Vice Mayor.
All right, since we finished with some of this stuff, I'd like to make a motion that we approve option number 1.
I would like to table this for 2 weeks before we do anything, guys. I want to see what happens with the county commission. I don't want to make...
I didn't ask you.
I'll second the
Sorry, Mr.
motion.
Mayor.
Can you read me option 1, please?
Not your motion to table.
He didn't make,
Right.
did he make,
Yeah.
did you make a
I
motion,
made
or
the
did you?
motion.
No, I know, Mayor, did you make a motion, or did you
No.
just say I'd like to?
No.
Okay, then second.
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify.
I made the motion to keep option number 1. We have a second,
Yeah, I'll second the motion so we can engage in discussion.
and then we can continue with the rest of the discussion if you'd
You
like.
did.
Well, the whole, yeah.
Yeah,
Should we take public comment prior to that?
Yes.
and if you want, but
Yeah, we got enough of it right here,
Seems like
so,
Public comment prior to motion, right? Prior to vote.
yeah. Daniel Dingman. Name and address?
Daniel Dingman, 116 South Sewell Point Road. I'm new to the community. I've been here maybe 7 months. I've developed over 40 subdivisions, 13 hotels, 25 apartment buildings, 2 shopping malls. I'm a real estate lawyer with a 40-year practice. I've never lived in a place where you weren't told, take care of your sewage. It's never been an option. All of that history I just cited to you is crystal clear. What are you going to do with the sewage? That's number 1. What are you going to do with the stormwater? That's number 2. You can't take down the trees, so you come talk to us is number 3. I walked out the door of my new house, and my front yard is full of human sewage. I didn't even think to look for that one when I did my due diligence. I just cannot believe that there's raw sewage coming up out of those drains. And there is, folks. If you haven't been down there, there definitely is. I'm right at the bottom of Riverview here, and I really appreciate the engineer's commentary tonight. I had no idea what the history was. I'm the new guy here, so admittedly, you did a wonderful job of clarifying it to everybody. I'll show up at the 11th or the 18th to the county. I'd urge you to do everything you possibly can to use your police powers, use your health, welfare, general health care of our community. You can't have sewage in the street. It's like, Saigon or Eastern Europe, and, it doesn't make sense to this beautiful place. And in closing, I'm not an environmentalist, but I'm a water enthusiast. I won't swim in the water in front of my house. It's full of sewage. So I don't know where everybody else is up and down this beautiful point, but my house has raw sewage in front of it. It blows my mind. I'm not going to lecture you on what else to do procedurally and all of that, but I just wanted to make my position clear. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry. Karen Davis King.
Hello. I've lived in the community for almost 30 years. My name is Karen Davis King, and we live at 35 West High Point Road. I approached the town to tell them that we had a non-functioning septic system in January, and they assured me that we would have a septic to sewer conversion, that I should just keep pumping it, which I have done in good faith. We have trees that ring our property that are mature oak trees. We cannot maintain a drain field well because we have too many roots. We also live in a low-lying area so that our drain field, since new development is constantly getting water over it, and we have problems with drainage up into our house of our septic due to that, and we were counting on this to solve the problems. We also have stormwater issues, which the town has been trying to deal with decades, so if there's any opportunity to have that, our garage floods with every hurricane because there are no swales that were put in High Point to manage the water, and we and the town have spent tens of thousands of dollars to try to mitigate it. So I hope that you keep the sewer conversion in High Point. Thank you.
Diane Kimes.
Well, I want to thank you so much. Diane Kimes, 2 Riverview Road, or Drive. I've been there since 2003, lived in Sewell's Point since 1994. And as I said at the last meeting, and I appreciate the fact that you listened. And Mayor Kurzman, thank you for giving us an opportunity to share the pain that we have been under for the last 15 years. I'm going to pass around some photographs of what we've been living with. And so it is incumbent on the town to do whatever they can do to convert to septic to sewer. We have to be serious about this. We have to have it mandated. The Martin County just got $12.5 million, and they are, their communities, whether it's Stewart or Martin County, they're paying $10,000 for a hookup. So it's $1,000 a year for 10 years, and we are offering a little bit less than that. And we should be able to spend a little bit more. We're a low-lying community. John Beatty, my next-door neighbor on Lantana Lane, when we first moved here, said to me, we've had sewer lines down Sewell's Point Road. We've always been, it was always in the position to put them in. We've been kicking the can down the road, and we are surrounded by the most pristine water in the country with the Indian River Lagoon. and the St. Lucie River. So I appreciate the High Point folks that want their conversion. We on the low end, we would like it as well, and we've felt the pain. We've lived with high tides. I'm not sure if I have copies for everybody, but I'm just going to pass these around so that you can see the impact that we have felt and the degradation to our personal property. So I urge you, if we have to wait, we urge you and we demand that you care for the roads, that you keep them clean. I rode my bike to High Point, and I went down east, west, middle. I run on Island Road. Those roads are so pristine. I wish I could walk out of my house and find the same thing. So I urge you, and Mr. Capra, I urge you to do whatever you can do, and unless we make sewers, mandate sewers, septic to sewers, we are not going to get grants. We lost $5 million. And as my neighbor said, Daniel, we had enteric water sitting on our properties. And it was 150,000 parts per million. Normal is 150 to 175. So I urge you to, let's move this forward. I want to be alive to know that I have sewers. I can't wait that long. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Kim Vicenzo.
Hi, my name is Kim Vincenzo, and I live at 4 Riverview Drive. I don't believe that anyone can truly appreciate the negative impact that the flooding has on our lives unless you live it. We are literally underwater. The flooding not only damages our cars, kills our grass and landscape, decreases our property values. It's disgusting and unsanitary. We know it's tested positive for sewer contamination, and it smells. There are days I can't leave my house, and there are days I can't get home. I've missed work, and I've had to cancel appointments because I can't get out. I've been out of town, and the person watching my animals cannot get to them. Many times we are flooded twice a day, depending on the tide. Even after the water recedes, we are left with muck and debris in the street, and it still smells. I have to step in it to get my mail, and our driveway is a black mess. We are now in a valley with completed construction on each side. This summer, the water was as high as the 04 and 05 hurricanes when we had a direct hit. Also, years ago, I thought it was decided that the storm drains at the corner were going to be cleaned on a regular basis to remove debris buildup and the street cleaned. Unless I've missed it, I have not seen that happen in a very long time. I cannot understand why an area that is high and dry would be next in line while we face flooding and unsanitary conditions. We have been dealing with this for years, and I feel like we just keep getting kicked down the road. We cannot continue living like this. I implore you to move Riverview to the next phase. And thank you for fighting for us.
Thank you. Michael Williams? How you doing?
Thank you. Michael Williams, brand new to the neighborhood, 1 month, so nice to meet everybody.
Newbie.
Welcome.
Yeah. First of all, thank you to all of you for your service to the community. It's a treasure of the entire area, so thank you all for your service to the community. I would just like to say that we are appreciative of your efforts. Hopefully you can convince the council to do the right thing here, and you have our commitment to try to do what we can do to further pressure the council to get this done for all the residents, and hopefully we can have option one and get it done within the timeline. So just thank you for your efforts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle Duke?
I elect not to speak. I'd like to take my 3 minutes and give it to Kim Spears, please.
Good evening, everyone. everyone. My name is Kim Spears. I am a resident of High Point at 22 Middle Road, and I also sell real estate in the town that I love. I came here tonight to advocate for High Point, and at the same time, I want sewer conversion for the communities that are underwater. If you look at the history of Sewell's Point, this has been ongoing since the 1970s. Now in 2025, we're still waiting for completion. Of the neighborhoods that have been flooding, 12 of 26 neighborhoods in South Sewell's Point already had gravity systems built around those neighborhoods, but they failed to ever continue to hook them up or design the lift stations, and here we are. I am asking the commission to continue with the project in High Point as it stands. We have finished Island Road, and now we'll proceed into High Point. At the same time, I'm asking the commission, with members of Riverview, to form a committee, a task force, to address the county commission who ran on the platform of Save Our Rivers. The only way this is going to get passed with additional grinders is if our residents of Sewell's Point join together and advocate with the county commission. We are under a very short time frame to get this project done before we lose those funds. So while I came here to speak on various items, I do feel for my neighbors. I do feel for my own community of High Point, because we do, even though it's pristine, we do have flooding issues, and people have held up on their septic systems and continue to pump. I just pumped mine. But regardless, I would love to have us continue with High Point and finish that. At the same time, I would make my promise to the residents of Riverview and anyone, if they would like a task force with the commission, that I will stand up for our neighborhood, because everybody wants Palm Beach and Jupiter Island prices, but can't fix our road waters and sewer systems here. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Kim, you have somebody else that wants you to speak on their behalf. Chad Goetz? Okay. Peggy Woods?
I defer to Kim Spears.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I had quite a bit to say tonight on the whole sewer septic conversion, and not to, sidetrack on our road situation that we have going on, which is a separate subject. I know it's not on the agenda for tonight, so I'm not going to take your time. But again, I approached the commission to put a task force together of residents. We have a lot of bright, beautiful minds. I have known Diane Kimes for a very long time. She's a master grant writer. I don't know if you know this. She actually trained me. I'm willing to go and whatever we need to do to make our community stand, keep our property values, keep residents from flooding, do our roads, do our septic to sewer conversion, because it benefits everyone. So, thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Carol Marcus. Kim, you got your card's next, so you might as well continue.
I get to continue on?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, I will say I'm here tonight. Normally, I don't get politically involved because I'm selling real estate. I care about our community and keeping high values high. However, with what is going on with our flooding and our sewer system and our road system, that is why I want a task force. I am begging you for a task force for concerned citizens and residents, because I don't believe everyone knows what's really going on. I did have a question for the commission and for Joe. Is there any section of South Sewell's Point that's not slated for sewer right now?
The answer is no.
So, and I think you're asking septic to sewer.
Septic to sewer, yes.
Yes, okay. So, although this area here currently is, you can see there's interest, but we've not, none of the actually, what areas here we actually designed the sewer system, so you know. But that would be able to put place gravity mains in accordance with the county commission and the current staff is asking for. So we have laid out, so you know, there are dry sewer mains, as you pointed out, from the 70s in Hillcrest,
situation. Proceeding now, timeframe-wise, if our grant money runs out in June, where do you foresee starting right now, and where could you, and then will we be completed to use that grant money? If we can't use all of the grant money because you haven't finished, can you bill in advance for work to be completed, or does the work have to be completed before you can bill for it?
Work has to be completed before I can bill for it. It's a reimbursement grant. We have to spend money to get the money.
Okay.
So if we're successful, the idea is that pretty much everything, other than some blue purple here, everything from there south would have sewers.
Okay.
That's what's in the 134 request.
So in knowing that, since we're in a time frame, to delay any delay on High Point, it just delays the grant money running out. Again, I please ask that you approve Plan A of continuing High Point sewer and let us work towards working with the county commission because they did run on clean rivers. So that's all I ask. Thank you.
John Manella.
Good evening, everybody. John Manella, 22 Middle Road. I want to offer a suggestion to everybody. I don't know if this is going to be something that will be allotted within the terms of the grant. However, that being said, you familiar with the earthquake in San Francisco in 1989? Well, they had a company owned by a man named Clinton, no relation to the president. What they did was they offered them incentives to get this road work done at a quicker time frame. And if you come in, every day you come in under the allotted time, you'll get a bonus. I don't know if that's applicable here, but if you've got money that you're going to lose, perhaps that's the solution where you could say, listen, we've got these two crews, speed up the process a little bit. Got to do it right, but speed up the process. And you've got the money. If you're going to lose it anyway, why not try that as a opportunity to get this thing done in a timely manner? That's all I have. Thank you.
Can we do that?
Is that a possibility, Joe?
Well, what makes that a little difficult, I'm not saying you can't do it, but is the more money we take for the grant, the more match we have to provide, which means more money that each of the residents have to pay. So I'm not saying anything against that. You're right, I'd like to spend all this money, but again, if I start incentivizing it by offering more money from the grant, I got to spend more money, I got to take more money from the residents to match that.
Understand. So.
Unfortunately, that's what I want to say.
Well, and my question would be, if you're going to lose it anyway, I'm not sure if there's not a benefit to doing that. And
Wouldn't that have to be in the
if it meant getting the
RFP?
project done, so people don't have to live in sewers, that might be something, I don't know, you're the expert in that, but just as a thought.
But we ended up going to gravity, and there was an incentive that somebody could get it done quicker. There still means, the problem with the gravity system is it costs the resident more money. And that's what I've been trying to balance. So it's, again, I believe it, nobody hates giving back this money more than me, because, typically these grinders everywhere, you probably.
Can we move on?
Okay, good.
Thank Miguel.
There we go. Okay. We can, it's, okay. Chris Flaherty.
Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Flaherty. I bought 37 East High Point. I did not buy it to live there, so I'm going to be the outsider looking in. You guys did a fantastic job. Absolutely fantastic. What I would tell you, the outsider looking in, you two guys need to reach out to Save Our River people. You guys have to understand something, outsider looking in. You guys go to the county and you start whining that you need help from the county, and they're going to go, oh, all the rich people over in Sewell's Point want the money, where the people over here should have it, okay? But if Save Our Rivers comes in and says, hey, we can't have that in the river, and your compassion is amazing, fantastic. But I think if you had an outsider say, hey,
You need to help these people because that's disgusting. We can't have that on our rivers because this is where we live. It's a beautiful place and fishing and families and all the other stuff. That's a whole different animal. Because today I came in here with hey, listen, I want High Point to be done because that's my investment. But I want the 10 houses to be done because that's our rivers. I'm a boater too, you know, and if you take and get those Save Our River people behind you, you know, you start posting stuff like that on Facebook and start tagging the Save Our River people, they'll show up. And you want to talk about a rabid group of people? They are insanity. They will torment more than you can, the commission, to get it done and fixed. But you guys are doing a great job. Thank you very much for preserving the value of my investment. So,
Thank you. And Dibzinski?
Good evening, I'm at 44 Rio Vista. I'm this little red dot up here. And the reason I'm a red dot is because 2 years ago I spent $22,000 putting in a septic system that failed. And I'm more than willing to hook up to Gravity. If somebody can work out some kind of a prorated cashback program for me, I'd be real happy. But to answer some of the to answer one of my questions is for you. We talk about dry sewer systems. Are there dry sewer lines already in the ground? 'Cause I haven't seen manholes.
yeah,
There are.
it's a subdivision.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
Not storm sewers, but sanitary sewers.
Yeah, they're,
Excellent.
they're going to line those pipe in that plan, and we're going to, we may do some rehabilitation to the manhole, but also the services to get to your.
And if we're truly, not about you, but if we're truly worried about the water, everybody that's below the water table or near the water table, those should be priorities. I'm like 35 feet above, right? I shouldn't really be a priority, but I'm more than willing to hook up. Like I said, I invested $21,500 a couple years ago. I wanted to wait, but I couldn't. I don't want to hook up if I don't have to. But I understand the concern, and I'm willing to do my part, so.
Thank you, Ben. All right, town manager, and you had your light on?
Well, if the Vice Mayor,
Vice Mayor.
There's a motion on the floor.
I wanted to,
Okay.
The motion still stands that we
well, we're discussing it, right? Because we had a motion and a second. Can we discuss?
we have a motion.
Yeah,
on the-
discussion.
Yeah.
We're going to discussion now. Get,
Me?
yeah, please.
Okay, all right, thank you. I mean, I think it's already been said and somewhat decided that Mayor Kurtzman, I do understand where you are coming from, and I appreciate that thought. I seconded the motion to stay on track for High Point. I feel for the Riverview residents and their flooding issues, but I don't believe it's good governance or fair or fiscally prudent to take already approved, contracted, and partially constructed connections and sewer work and move it to a different area. So that's why I seconded option one. I think it makes the most sense. And like everyone has said, I think we channel our energies to getting those extra 134 connections. In terms of communicating with the Board of County Commissioners, I think it's important to be specific, asking for the approval of the additional 134 grinders. I know sometimes it's hard to know what to say. I think emails are great. Also speaking in person, but the email gives them time to think about it. So whatever anyone is willing to do is wonderful. The flooding issues, this is, when we've all been saying it, but it's been going on for years. That road project, South Sewell's Point Road project, is so important. That is going to hopefully mostly completely solve those tidal flooding issues. And so that's why I always want to keep the eye on that ball. That's the thing that will really, the thing that Joe mentioned with the grants. That's the important work. I also know that Joe gave some recommendations at the beginning, and I wanted to touch on those. I don't know if I would do a second. I'd probably do a motion after this one has been voted on, but I like the idea of the Rio Vista. I think that shows our commitment to the county, that we want something from them. We need to show our commitment. And using the gravity system, we have the pipes. They sound like they have a great system going where you're not immediately assessed money or having to pay immediately, however we're terming that. So I would have, I'm just letting you guys know that I would be wanting, after this motion, to approve with setting up with the county, reline, is that how you wanted it, Joe? This was a while ago, reline the Rio Vista pipes and put in, so you wanted to talk about that, but you said you'd come back to us to actually
that's
spend the
option
money?
4.
Okay.
That's on-
That's option 4, okay. Okay, and then, all right. That's my piece, but keep our eye on the ball. Phase 2, get these additional grinders, approve Phase 2, and Sewell's Point is going to be well on its way to representing the wonderful place that it is, so.
Town manager.
I just wanted to say for those members that are going to attend on the 18th, positive attitudes really get a lot of distance. So, if you just, treat everybody with respect, you can still get the message across. So, that's all I wanted to add.
Commissioner Fender.
Yeah, I'm still pretty hopeful that we're going to get the extra 134 connections. I just want to make sure that in the plan that Riverview is covered in the grinder system. It's not gravity, right?
Correct.
If we get that
That's correct.
134,
That's right.
yes.
Okay.
Commissioner Titicus.
Yeah, a couple questions about the options, and then I want to go over a few things. In the options that were presented, option 2 was relocate 20 grinder connections from Middle Road. So, to Riverview Road and Palm Road. There's 18 homes on Riverview, and there's 20 homes on Palm Road. Curious what the cutoff was. That's a total of 38 homes, and you're moving 28 connections. So I'm not sure, I'd like to know what the logic in that
It
thinking
was
is.
going up to River Road, not going past it, only up to River Road because that's where the sewers, the septic tanks, the leach fields are covered in water on the lower part. It's not the upper. So what it is, we want to remove, what's happening is when you go on Riverview, the water, when they have their king tides and their heavy rains, you could go up, it pretty much goes almost as high as right where Mariah is over there, up on the lawns, maybe as high as the podium, and you see it really bad. And what happens is once the water goes down, it takes all the muck and it goes on Mrs. Kynes, she owns part of it. The gentleman that's sitting right there, he gets his share. And
I'm aware of it, David. After the last meeting, I drove down there and it was still flooded.
yes,
So I'm aware of it. Thank you. I just was interested in what's the logic of 38 homes and a cutoff of 20. You answered it. Thank you. Then the other question I had was option 3 said relocate 75 connections. And there are 18 homes on Riverview, 20 on Palm, 8 on Kingston, 10 on Oakwood. That's a total of 56. So where are the other 19 connections going? Whoever put this together, I'm assuming that this came out of your office,
Well,
Mr. Daniels?
we both worked on it.
Okay.
So, I'm just going to try to, let me make sure I understand the question, first of all. There's a.
I'll be happy to repeat it.
75, so there are, it's on that map, to be honest with you, it's off now.
Which one?
The map, the color map,
The one that's there?
yeah, the one that's up now.
Oh, okay.
So you know, in High Point, there's 75 connections, okay? That includes the 20, and I put on the map for a reason. There are 75 connections in the gray area that basically encompasses High Point, East High Point Road, Middle Road, as well as West High Point Road. There's 75 connections there. There's 75 homes, okay? And then I also put on the map, just so you know, along Middle Road, okay, there's actually I did 22 homes because the road goes up, okay? And so I took from the High Point to the north, okay? And there's 22 connections there. So they're included in the 75. But I wanted you to understand, there's 22 connections on Middle Road. And when you put sewers, and this is something just so you understand, when you put sewers in a road, it becomes available to both sides of the road. So I have to count on both sides of the road, because that's where I'm putting the line, I'm putting it in the road, just so you know. So there's 22 connections that are in Middle Road, and what I was just trying to say, well, if I took the high area, there'd be 22 connections I could take out, and possibly we could move them over to, I'm not advocating this, I'm just telling 22, that we could move over to Riverview as well as Palm Road, and only between River Road and South Sewell Park.
Now, I hear what you're saying, but you said pick up 75 connections out of High Point, okay? This is recommendation 3. And then move them to option 3, to Riverview, Palm, Kingston, and Oakwood. There are 56 homes on those 4 streets. So you're taking 75 connections and you're moving them to 56. That leaves 19 left over. Where are they going?
Okay, look at the map, you have a copy of it.
Got it in front of me.
There's 75 connections in High Point, there's 74 connections between Pineapple Lane to Oakwood, okay? There's 74 connections there. So there's an actually there's, and just remember, the homes along South Sewell Point Road are already in the.
I understand.
There's actually 74 connections in that area.
I think my memo didn't have pineapple in it, so I think that's going to account for the rest of it.
That's why the map was done, to be fair to Bob, the map was done after he wrote the memo.
That's why I put approximately.
Approximately, okay. Well, Pineapple
Keyword.
only has 10 homes too, so that still leaves 9 connections left out.
Approximate.
Approximately. It's got a problem with approximately. Okay, so option 4 is authorize the 76 gravity connections in the Rio Vista subdivision. And this is primarily so that we don't lose the grant money. We're into a use it or lose it mentality, is that correct? You know, is that a good reason to move forward with that?
Plus, the Martin County Utilities has requested that if we're going to do something, they'd like to see that done.
Okay.
So, and I think if we're asking for something and they're asking for something, maybe that's a good deal.
So I'd like to go over some of the facts, okay? We sent out 368 surveys, 118 were returned. And that's after you knock out some of the dupes. And that's a 32% response rate. 89 people said they would connect. That's 24% of the residents. 33 said they would not connect. That's 9%. 68% didn't respond. One can argue that it's either a yes or a no vote, or they don't care. Broken down by street, and I did an analysis by street that's included in your packet, you find that only 2 streets had a majority of residents respond, Riverview and Mandalay. And only 1 street, Riverview, had a majority of residents in favor of sewer service. So, I mean, I hear what a lot of folks had to say tonight, but at the same time, I don't think that there's a compelling group that is interested. You know, if we have a problem, and I think we do have a problem in the low-lying areas, and that's the whole reason why we move forward with, you know, the sewer program on South Sewell Point Road, that we need to resolve the issue on South Sewell Point Road, and particularly Riverview and Palm, that flood. So the 2 houses bordering on South Sewell Point Road can connect. You would have to allow a connection for second and third house, perhaps deep up the street, so that you don't have inundation in the yard. Not sure you've got to do the whole street because the street moves up in elevation. And so I think that we ought to take a look at either petitioning the county for 6 additional grinders, which perhaps is a little bit more doable than 134, and we ought to return the unused funds to DEP. and maintain the program as we're moving forward on High Point and Middle Road.
I've pretty much talked to the people also, as you already know, on Riverview. Pretty much everybody, 100% except for one person in the very back. It's an elderly couple that have health issues that haven't been here in a while. They live in the cul-de-sac, on the water, on the far end, on the St. Lucie River. So if you're going on it would be the southwest corner. They're the only ones that said no. Everybody else I've talked to on Riverview, from the beginning to the end, the 100% hookup except for the elderly couple. And-
Dave, if you look at the response that you have in front of you,
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm saying.
there were
actual-
13 people that responded
Yes,
out of 18 properties,
yes.
which was a high response rate, 72%. I mean, they were the highest response rate of
Yes.
anybody out there, and which is indicative to me that there is a problem there and that people want to get it resolved.
Yes,
But the problem isn't in the upper elevations. You already stated that.
yes, that's correct. Commissioner Fender.
Frank, I appreciate your facts. I like that you're spending time on that detail, but I like this chart. This chart is visual, it's graphical, it's color-coded, and just, we've been fighting this battle for a lot of years. I mean, a lot of years. And every step of the way, the small majority of folks came forward and said, we've got surveys that say 80% of the population does not want sewers. And this chart shows you that that's just not true. I mean, it's more green than red. It's, the people, you can calculate the people that haven't responded as negative. I don't, but let's put them in the don't care zone. And the don't care doesn't mean don't give them infrastructure. It means that they're happy with the job in the town that they live in. So I don't know. I mean, even in this room, I haven't heard any negative comments. Even the person that marked himself red says he's going to hook up in 22 years when his septic tank collapses. So you've got to give him that infrastructure to do that one day. And it won't cost him $22,000 then. It'll cost him $9,000. So I don't know. I think move to vote,
Well, may I respond to Commissioner Fender?
Yes,
First of all, chart is nice, but the chart is inaccurate.
It's highly accurate.
No, it's not highly accurate, and let me point out the reason why it's not highly accurate. Joe indicated that the survey was done back in 2022. The survey that went out in 2022 did not give the residents an option to say no. There was you're going to hook up in 1 year, 3 years, 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years. The survey that we just sent out did give people an option to say no.
I still see a lot of green from that one.
Commissioner Mayfield.
Yes, just to clarify, the motion that has been seconded, and that's on the table, is just to continue with the High Point one. And then I had said before, I will make a motion afterwards with the Rio Vista stuff. But I also wanted to clarify with Commissioner Titikus, so you're saying that you were advocating to send back the $5 million in grant money from the state for resiliency. It's a resiliency grant. You want to send that back and then just try to ask the county for 4 to 6 extra grinder systems. Is that correct? And then proceed as status quo for High Point and Phase 2. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. I support the low-pressure system along South Sewell's Point Road because it has the potential to eliminate the septic tank overflow during flooding times. I don't support imposing sewers on the balance of the peninsula and South Sewell's Point for a couple reasons. Number one, and there is no empirical evidence that the higher elevation properties in South Sewell's Point are polluting this Indian River Lagoon. Number two, the state of Florida, when they passed House Bill 1379 back in 2024 and was signed into law by the governor, outlined a less costly alternative. And the less costly alternative is for properties to replace their septic systems with advanced treatment units. And you get the same results, and they're just as effective according to DEP.
Okay, thank you. I just want to say that also on that map, you know, there's a, in the Riverview area, according to the results of the polling, there's a lot of green there that's beyond 4 houses. So all those people are interested and wouldn't be able to get it. You know, what got me interested in being a commissioner in the first place 6 years ago was, I think, learning that the town sent back like $500,000 for sewer in North Sewell's Point. And I just thought this is just my opinion, this is just how I feel. Everyone knows I'm a big proponent of sewer, but that just seems crazy to me to send back that amount of money that the state is giving us to improve our area, when we all know with our recurring revenue, we could never afford to do these projects on our own, ever. Not the road project, not the sewer, we just don't have the income to do these projects. So I think it's just not in the best interest at all to send back the grant. So once we vote on this, I'll be making my motion.
Vice Mayor.
Okay, I have 2 things. On your $500,000 statement,
Yeah.
that was offered to all of Sewell's Point.
I mean, I didn't know all the facts then. I just heard the rumor and I was like, I should do this.
I'm the one who dealt with it,
Yeah.
okay? Back then, when I was a commissioner back then. That money was a legislative grant. It was from the Senate. It was money that they had in their coffers that they had to get rid of. And we were pressured at the time to start a sewer project by Gail Harrell and Toby Overdorf. And so what happened was, nobody from South Sewell's Point, and some people, a lot of people from North Sewell's Point, didn't want to hook up. However, the majority of people in North Sewell's Point responded, okay? And that's why the money went to North Sewell's Point. And it was more logical because at the time, we were only offered grinders and the vacuum system. And at the time, the vacuum system was offered out to us at $25,000 and the grinder system for $9,000. And I have to tell you right now that there was an incentive because the town dropped the permits. The town said you don't have to have a permit, okay, to hook up. You just get an electrician, we'll bypass it, we'll take care of everything, just as long as he's licensed, yada, 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 yada. And so that's all the things that happened with North Sewell's Point. Okay, and some of that money went to the commercial. I believe that's why they got theirs. So it's not like that money was not offered to everybody, because it was. I hear that constantly. Well, North Sewell's Point got $500,000. Well, that's because you turned it down at the time, and they responded. So that's what happened. And that also made Gail Harrell and Toby very happy. All right, and that's why we can continue to get grants, because we fulfill that $500,000. We fulfilled our obligation to that $500,000. We said we would hook up to sewer in North Sewell's Point if we got the $500,000. They released it to us. We hooked up to sewer. So that's why they keep saying, okay, we're going to back you when you get grants. Okay, but you can't turn them down. If you start turning them down, the word to me was, I'm not this is not a debate with that grants, okay? So I don't want to get into a debate with that. This is simply what was said to me by Toby Overdorf. If you don't fulfill this $500,000 grant, you will never get another grant from us. If you decide that you do it and then return some money, we'll make sure that you never get another grant again. Okay? That was said at a dinner, right? That was told to me, and it's on the record. I'm making it on the record because I'm tired of hearing about it. All right? So my motion is to approve option number 1. We have a second. We're going to call for a vote? Call a question.
Okay. Attorney, please, it's...
Thank you. And I have been asked to make sure that I read the motion as it's stated in the packet. So option number 1 is to leave the original plan in place with the construction of the grinder system and all of the High Point subdivision.
Yes.
All right, and Commissioner Titicus.
Yeah, just, and I'm not going to debate with you on the grants, Vinnie, but the grant for $8.4 million, let me finish, excuse me. The grant for $8.4 million was to run a sewer line down South Sewell's Point Road, up through High Point, and down along Middle Road. That was what the grant was for. Now, it came in at about $3 million. So it either was the price that was put into the grant was either grossly overestimated, or Mr. Daniels is a hell of a negotiator with the contractor. You know, take it either way, I don't care. Now, I don't look at it as a negative to return money that was designated for a specific purpose and wasn't needed for that purpose. I mean, that's part of the reason why we got the problem we have in government today.
I believe that the grant was for all of South Sewell's Point. It was for all of South Sewell's Point.
706 connections.
And the state is like that. They are very strict. You return grant money, and I've already been told that as well. You don't return grant money. Otherwise, if there's a hurricane here or something, let me see, we got this. Oh, and I'm going to put Sewell's Point on the bottom. And that's what happens. They don't like us returning, and they don't like us to argue with them. And I learned that after my first year as a commissioner. I all but got thrown out of an office because I had a different idea and it didn't sit with them. And you're going to take the grant money, you're going to do what you got to do. If you return grant money, you're on the bottom of the list, and it's being left at that, and I'm going to take it for what it's worth. And the vice mayor is 100% correct. Town manager.
No, I'm done. Question's been called, so.
Roll call.
Commissioner Fender?
Yes.
Commissioner Mayfield?
Yes.
Commissioner Titicus?
Yes.
Mayor Kurzman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burrell?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Commissioner Mayfield.
Yes, I would also make a motion to authorize the 76 gravity connections in Rio Vista subdivision, taking the first steps as referenced by our engineer and with the constraints that the town commission has been talking about for years. And is that a good motion, or is that unclear?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Mayfield?
Yes.
Commissioner Titicus?
No.
Mayor Kurzman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burrell?
Yes.
Commissioner Fender?
Absolutely.
Motion passes 4-1.
Okay. Now we go to, okay, I'm so sorry, Commissioner
Oh, that's
Mayfield,
right.
please.
Sorry, I just pressed the button. Originally, Joe, I'm going back to the recommendations you had said about asking the administrator to approve the 134 units, the grinder, asking the county essentially. I am asking my fellow commissioners, we're all in agreement that that's something that we want to do. I don't think we need to vote on it, correct? Or do we?
I think we need to vote on it. I'm not in
Okay.
favor. I'm in
Okay,
favor
that's
of
fair.
going to the county commission and asking the county commission for 6 to 8, an expansion of 6 to 8 connections on the low-pressure system so that we can take care of River Road, or at least the flooded properties on River Road and the flooded properties on Palm.
What's the motion?
I haven't made one yet. I was asking.
Apparently we need
Okay.
one, so go ahead and say what it is.
I have a question on that. I was told, I was told this today, and I'm not sure if it's true or if it's, that there was a house on North Sewell's Point Road that had a grinder system put in, and the water table was so low that the grinder system kept failing. Now, and then they had to raise it, and so it's above ground right now. So I'm concerned that that might be the issue down in Rio Vista or something. Maybe the water table is low there too, and they might have to raise them up. That's just a question. I don't.
Does their building inspector know about that, or a town manager? This is the first time I'm hearing about that.
No. Can I,
I remember that they said it was a house that they built a fence around the grinder system. Now, I don't know if that's true. Again, I just heard it today.
Yeah, I haven't heard that.
Engineers?
First I ever heard of it.
Do you know anything about that?
Well, the placement of the grinder system it certainly would be best to put it above the water table. So could it be up into the, could the top of it be above the grade? Sure, that could happen. But yeah, the point is typically you'd want it to be, it's allowed to be in the water table, but the fact of the matter, normally they like to put it above that. Remember, it's a pressurized system, which would basically, it's somewhat watertight, right? And that's why you, again, not the only reason, but it's one of the reasons why you want the grinder system put in place. The gravity, on the other hand, would be in the water table, and you would have infiltration of water into the the sanitary system. So anyways, bottom line is, yes, that they put them, but in Rio Vista, the majority of those places that we're putting it is going to be above the water table, because it's not on the riverside. It's not in the riverside. It's actually the cul-de-sacs, Crane's Nest, Heron's Nest, plus one set of lots, or well, two sets of lots on either side of South Sewell's Point Road, and then you're climbing up the range. So it's going to be above the water table.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know, that's the first I ever heard of something like that.
Commissioner Mayfield, please, go right ahead.
I would make a motion to endorse the Sewell's Point requesting the 134 grinders from the county commission.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Titicus.
No.
Mayor Kurzman.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burrell.
Yes.
Commissioner Fender.
Absolutely.
Commissioner Mayfield.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
Commissioner Titicus.
Yeah, I was just going to throw in that the grinder systems, if you go on the DEP website and you take a look at it, they say that they're recommended for low-lying coastal areas. Because it's an 80-gallon tank, the grinder, it's a contained system, and your outflow pipe hooks up to the low-force pressure main.
And I would also like to make a motion that we start a commission, as Ms. Spears asked for, in sewer, so we could have the public more involved with this, especially with what remains, and sure that Ms. Kimes and Ms. Spears would be great at this, because they're both been very active as residents now, and if they don't mind, I'd like to hear what the commission has to say, if I can make that motion.
I'm all for it, I'll second it.
Roll call.
Wait, I have a comment on that.
Oh, I am so sorry.
Just a point of order, I think you would have to relinquish your gavel
Yeah,
to
you
make a
can't make a
motion.
motion.
Yes, you're the presider.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
I was just going to say that I like the idea of that. I think that, at our next meeting, if we could have something, more, I don't really know what this entails. It sounds great, but then we have the whole committee thing where you're subject to sunshine. Is that correct? So we want to make sure we're taking all those things into account and everyone understands it. Meaning, I just want to make sure we're going through all the motions so at the next meeting, we get some information on how this would really be working.
I think we,
So I'm okay with that. I just want to put that out
it
there.
makes sense, we'll put it on the agenda, and that's something we should talk about?
So, yeah, and now that I'm thinking about it, I guess that was a task force and, it was a public comment in general because the county meeting is 2 weeks away inherently, so.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I guess.
That's where I'm trying to spearhead this thing.
Well, I think that they would have to do something on their own. I don't think that we can approve, because any committee that's approved by us, I believe, has to follow sunshine rules. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, so we can't approve something that they're going
They have to do it
to
on
get
their own.
done within 2
I
weeks.
got you.
So we could put it on the agenda, but I don't think we should vote on anything right now, personally.
Council.
That was just, my light was to say you can encourage the community members to get together and basically form their own task force. And
A
that often works
non-official,
better. Correct.
you call it, just like a friends group that's talking about sewers.
Yeah.
If I may, Mayor, but obviously the expertise that they have might help us later on down the road as we look for grants for the remainder of South Sewell's Point. So, Kim, maybe we'll chat about that, and Diane, appreciate that.
Okay, I didn't see who hit, council, I guess, always
I
good.
just wanted to have you all withdraw the motion.
Yes, I'm going to withdraw the motion.
Yeah, and seconded.
Commissioner?
Yeah, I was just saying all those things, that we should have them get involved and certainly come to the support of the county commission as well.
That would be a great help. I appreciate it, ladies. Commissioner Mayfield? You need to fill out a card.
You could just still fill one out.
You can still, go fill one out, go ahead.
Yeah,
Right,
right there.
yes.
In the meantime, I have a commissioner comment if we're there yet. Kind of related. They referenced cleaning the roads. I think that seems like a reasonable step to take in the meantime. When it does dry out, the roads do look kind of messy. I know that occasionally there is a contracted street sweeper that we
Yes.
have. Is that correct? I
Yes.
don't know if we could step that up or have them, because I agree, the roads look messy, and I would not want to have that outside my house also. So that seems like a tiny little Band-Aid in the meantime, so.
I made a note, so
Okay.
thank you. And if I may,
Yes.
just, we are in the third week of the month instead of the second week, so obviously we don't have a meeting coming this next Tuesday. It's going to be on the 18th at 6 o'clock. The county commission meeting usually meets at 9 a.m., and they're meeting on the 18th. So just so everybody's clear on the dates and the times, and obviously we'd love to have you all back at 6 o'clock as well, but, you know, hopefully that'll be to celebrate some success. But I did want to let everybody know that of that change, because we're out of the little bit of a norm. And we'll also have on the agenda that same date, because of the fact that the mayor and the vice mayor are chosen, and by the charter, it has to be the third week of November, so.
All right, and we have one more comment from James Trainer.
How are you guys?
Hey.
Thank you all very much for all your efforts, much appreciated. Two quick questions. Is there like a Board of Health that wouldn't have something to do with all of this waste material being on the ground, where when you go to the county commissioner, you could say, the Board of Health is saying this is, because it truly is an unhealthy situation? That would be question one. Question two, after watching this whole meeting, I live at 111 South Sewell's Point Road, one house off of Pineapple. Am I, in the next calendar year, am I on phase 3 that's 2 years down the road? I have no idea where I stand as far as when I bought the house a year and a half ago, they told me I would be done in 6 months, then they said a year, and they said it was all approved, and grant was done. Well, actually, when I purchased the house, the realtor told me that. So where am I?
You're set,
Yeah.
you're set.
I'm going to be connected?
If you're on.
Yeah,
if
you're
on South
111
Road,
South?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, so what's happening is because of the construction that's going on with Phase 3, the resiliency project, that stops at Pineapple.
Right.
So they started on Island Road doing the septic to sewer. So when they finish High Point, they're going to come up South Sewell's Point Road, up by your house, and connect in at Pineapple. And then they'll pressurize that system, test it, and then make it serviceable for the county utilities, Martin County Utilities. And then the plan is, then they will work in the Archipelago District to bring those lines on, which will take a little bit longer, because I believe they're also doing replacing the water lines in that area as well. And you have the bridges. So hopefully.
So having said that, it is from Pineapple, which has and you can connect, right, one house over from me literally can connect now. And I know we're throwing a dart, now you can't give me a date. Am I 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 15? What am I looking at?
Well, the contract goes to May. So the outset is May, but I think the conversations that we're having is trying to get a second crew in there and move that project along. So if we do get the approvals that we need for the other areas that we talked about tonight, that we can get that done and be totally done with that grant by the end of June.
That relates to sewers, but the actual extension of the road?
Oh, the extension of the road, that area, I'm not sure if that's in which section, but we're starting construction hopefully in February for the roadway construction
Past the
and the
front of my
drainage. Right.
Okay. And the last one, I'm done.
And it takes about a year, that type of project, so.
I got pulled over the other night for driving through the road when it's not blocked off at night. What is the rule? Because half the time people are driving in and out of it, and it's not barricaded, and half the time it is.
Well, they usually are good about buttoning up the road, but as, you know, we've actually had individuals on Halloween night move the barricades.
Okay, so it's off limits. Don't drive through it because there's a ton of traffic.
Well, the problem is, we don't want anybody to get hurt, you know,
Understood.
so.
Understood. Okay, thank you all for your time.
Thank you. All right. Do we have a motion to, any more comments, first of all?
Yeah,
Yes.
you know, Mr. Daniels and I have discussed this, and he told me you have a construction meeting on Thursday. Is that correct?
Yes.
And it does, you know, from Ridgeview on down to where it starts, the road is done, it's clear, and it should be opened at night and on weekends, and no one should be ticketed for using that road on night and weekends. And Bob, you were going to bring this up at the meeting on Thursday, and then get a communication.
Thursday isn't here yet.
Okay, and get a communication out to the
Mr. Kramer,
town.
did you get a ticket? So, he didn't get a ticket, just so you know.
Well, I'll have to talk to the chief about that, because he should have gotten a ticket.
Yeah. But yes, we'll make sure we get that information out.
Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and please, don't forget to do those, you know, let the county commissioners know. And this is, like I say, not just for our neighbors, we're all neighbors, but for the river, and that's really very important that we protect our river. It's our most valuable asset. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
Make a motion that we adjourn?
I'll second.
Bang that gavel.